Hello friends, it is Saturday and I am jumping on to do a little bit of painting. Now it has been a minute since I have done watercolor painting, and I just was feeling like I really wanted to sit down and do just something super simple today, and I thought that I would take you along with me. So a lot of you guys know we've been on a journey the last 6 months, which it has already almost been 6 months since we got that diagnosis. One thing I don't think I told you guys is that when the surgeon came to tell me that it was cancer, he didn't tell my husband. He left me to tell him myself. My husband was still in the PACU, and he came to me and he said, it's a type of glioma. It's a primary cancer, which means it didn't metastasize from somewhere else. And he also told me he felt like it was inoperable. He said, we won't operate because it's near the speech center. And so I'll put in a referral for neuro-oncology. And I was stunned. And he asked me if I had any questions. And I was like, are you going to come back and talk to him? Like, this was a Friday morning. And he's telling me this, but he's not telling my husband because he was still in the PACU. And he tells me, no, somebody like a PA from my team will round on you this weekend. And then I don't even know if I said anything. I was so shocked. And he kind of made a joke about like, oh, they give me the weekend off every once in a while. And then he just kind of left me there to give the news to my husband that not only was it cancer, but that he thought it was inoperable. And I tell you that because my mentality and where I was at when that happened was very different than we are today. I mean, this is still very hard, but like that news and then having to give that news to Travis, something while I was waiting for him to, wake up and recover so that I could talk to him about this, and see what the doctor said. Like a doctor would come around on us and I'm like thinking, well, is he going to tell him? And then nope, he didn't tell him either. And I was like, they really are just going to make me tell him this. And, something kind of stirred in me and I was like, nope, this is not where we're going to be. This is not the team that is going to care for you. And so we did end up getting a second opinion. And as a lot of you guys know, he did have a craniotomy and had a majority of the tumor removed. It was actually not as near the speech center as they thought it was, as that original doctor who was not even willing to consider it. So before surgery, he had what they call a functional MRI so that they can look and see which parts of his brain he's using for different things. And it actually wasn't, it was above or in front of or something. It was not on top of the speech center. So anyway, I share all that to say when we came home from that hospital, we didn't have the pathology back yet. And I just really could not, and I know I've mentioned this before, I could not do intense things. Like all the TV shows we were watching, the books I was reading, it just stopped. I don't think we've really watched TV since then. Maybe like once or twice we've tried to put something on, but we just have not really consumed much media since that happened. But what I did like to do after that time is I would just put on videos on YouTube of people painting. And I wasn't painting at all. I didn't have it in me to sit down and do art, but whatever I was doing, whether it was like washing the dishes or, something, just having like that relaxing video on of art, it was like the one thing that my nervous system could handle. And so it really has made me want to get back into it myself. Now that we're 6 months into this and my, things have changed a little bit and we're not, while it's still hard, it's not the same shock level as it is at the beginning. And I don't really know how to explain that. But I think if you've been through something like this, you'll know what I mean. I talked to another wife who had been through a similar experience like a year before, and she was like, this is the worst part. It's like, it gets better. And I could not imagine that in my mind that it would get better. And she's right. It's a different kind of hard at the beginning when you're just processing all of those like super shocking things you've been told. And it's not that I don't think it really gets easier. I just think maybe you grow and gain some new perspectives. And so now all that to say, I'm so sorry, that's so much chatting. But all that to say is I think that adding the peaceful practice of watercolor back into my life is something that I'm ready to do. So I hope you guys will join me. I thought I would start with something super, super, super easy. I shouldn't say easy, but super familiar to me. Part of me feels kind of funny decorating around the alphabet because it's not like It's saying a whole lot, but I think I'm just gonna do it because I want to keep painting, and and there's no reason we can't make our alphabet look beautiful, right? So I'm just gonna try to fit in some really basic florals wherever I can make them fit. So yeah, I hope this makes sense why I've just been really wanting to get back into art as more of a relaxation practice. I am not gonna lie to you, that is not why I have really done art in the past. I'm kind of like a task-oriented, goal-focused person. And so I like to do art because I like to make something out of nothing, whether it's painting or sewing or whatever it is. I just like to be able to create the things that I love, and I think that's really cool and it makes them really unique. But I have felt like my eyes have been opened to this whole other side of art for relaxation's not the right word, so I'm not really sure how to explain what I'm trying to say, but I do feel like those of you who do art for this reason are going to know exactly what I'm talking about, so maybe you can help me put words to my thoughts. But just doing art for the sake of kind of your like mental and emotional well-being. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not putting the right words to this, but I hope you guys can help me. It has obviously been a long time since I've painted, and I will not lie, I don't really love how these flowers turned out. I wrote way too large, so there wasn't space to add more to it. Probably could have planned that better if I knew that I was going to continue on painting, and I probably should have done the border first and then fit my lettering inside it at the end. But my whole point is that's not what this is about. It's just about using art in a different way, and so sometimes the end result might not be my favorite thing in the world, but that's okay because it still served its purpose and I still enjoyed it. So yeah, I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you want to join me, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.